This conference will now be recorded.
So yesterday we have got so many inputs saying that we need to have some session on VirtualBox. So well, like if you are using Windows, Mac, or Linux operating system, still we can run Oracle VirtualBox. So how to install it? It's like you need to download the package from official website. So use this link. Okay, use this link and download the package. If your base machine is Windows, then download the Windows package. If it is Mac OS, then download this one. For Linux, it is this, and for Solaris, this one. Okay, so it is up to you. So once that is done, just click on that and continue the installation. It doesn't matter. Okay, so like next, and then finish. Installation will be done. Once the installation is done, just a second. Sridham, can you call me back after 2 hours? I'm in class. Yeah, yeah. I'll do one thing. I will ping you. Okay. Okay then. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Bye. So there we can download your VirtualBox once installation is done. Then open the Oracle VirtualBox. You will see nothing here. Okay. That is a new version which you are trying to download. That is a new version. The settings will be a bit different. Okay. You'll have some options here. Okay. So many other things. Let me, yeah. So now the question is, after installing it, what are the things we need to follow? The only thing you need to look at it is like network. Okay. So if you are using this kind of version, my version is, you can see here, this particular version is, yeah, 5.1.38, which I'm using right now. Okay. This is the version which I'm using. So for that, okay. So here you can go to, what happened to this? Okay. Few things, yeah. Go to Oracle VirtualBox. Here you can see preferences. Okay. Then if you click on that, here we can see network. Okay. So I will give you one Linux document. So you there I have updated the screenshots of how to configure the network and all. So you can follow it actually. Okay. So when you click on network, we have two sessions. One is NAT network and one is host only. One is NAT, it is already created. If it is not created, just click on plus button here. It will create automatically. Or minus in the sense it will remove it. This is for edit. Okay, if you want to modify something in this particular thing, network, then you need to click on edit. Okay. Now why we need to have a NAT network? So NAT network is nothing but if you want to communicate to the internet, like to the external world, if your VM has to communicate to the internet or something, we need to have a NAT network. NAT network will provide an IP address to your system as well as it will provide you the internet connectivity. But the problem is it doesn't allow the incoming packets in the sense from the base mission, from my what do we say, from my this particular mission, right? If I try to do SSH to my virtual box, which is a Linux operating system, okay, if I do that, it doesn't allow. So even though I'm located in the same operating system, if you are trying from the base machine also, it doesn't allow the incoming packets. That's a problem with NAT. But you will get internet connection. Okay. And Second one is, so here we are using one, for a VM we are attaching two networks. One is host only and one is NAT. NAT is already attached, so like created. It is a kind of switch you're creating here. Okay, it is a software switch. And one more switch which we need to create is host only network. Host only network, in the sense, the meaning is you can communicate within the server. In the sense, from the base machine you can communicate when you use this IP address to the virtual machine, and from one virtual machine to another virtual machine you can communicate. Okay, for that reason we are using host only network. So I will attach two NIC cards, virtual NIC cards to my virtual machine. That is, one is NAT and one is host only. Okay, NAT is for internet connection, host only is for communication, logging to your server from outside, like from the base machine or from other Linux machine, whatever it is, from other virtual machine. But it is within the server, but it doesn't get any internet connection. That's the reason we are using NAT. Okay, if you want both the combination, that is called as bridge network, which we don't have right now here. Okay, that will be provided directly. Bridge, in the sense, it is a combination of NAT and host only network. It has internet connectivity as well as you can communicate from outside, but we need to get the IP address from the LAN cable which you have connected to your operating your base machine, or the Wi-Fi which you have connected. I will tell you later what is this. But here, host only network, you need to create it if it is not available. If it is already available, if you want to see the details of this, just double click on this. You can see here adapter. This is the gateway of the switch, and this is the subnet mask. Okay, it is a slash 24. So we can connect totally 2254 virtual machines in this. Okay, I'm disabling the DHCP. I don't use DHCP. Okay, so because directly I want to provide the IP address manually, and that should be static. Okay, just these things, just remember. For initially it will be a bit confusing, but it's things these are the mandatory things which we need to remember. So go to a
So
check for
to have,
preferences. Yeah.
so if we have the NAT network, so we have internet connection for outside world, but not for the
Huh.
host.
Yes. See here, for one machine I gave bridge. See, this is bridge adapter which I gave to my virtual machine. This is nothing but which is directly connected to my Wi-Fi. At my home I have Wi-Fi, so it is directly connected to that particular Wi-Fi. So I can use an IP address which I'm using for my base machine. I can use another IP which is free. So directly you will get an internet connection from other. If someone has already connected to my router, they can also communicate to my virtual machine. And I will get internet connection, both the combination of it. Okay, since I am not using it right now, that's the reason I didn't told about a bridge adapter. Okay, you got it. I don't know who is that.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, got it. So
Okay, yeah, any other question?
no, like I saw like different screen for like when you click on network, it is host only and bridge. Three options we
Yes.
have. Okay.
Yeah, bridge you will get directly from your virtual machine settings. This is like global settings which I'm showing you right now. See, if I go to VirtualBox, it is a Mac OS. Okay, so that's the reason it is a different feature. So if I go to VirtualBox, there you will have file preferences in Windows. File preferences, and then directly you can go to it. So here VirtualBox preferences, there you can see network. Okay, so in the network I have two sessions. One is NAT network and one is host only. In the NAT, by default you can see one NAT is already available. You can see the IP address details and all. Okay, for this it doesn't require anything to change. Only we supports DHCP. That is the only thing we need to see in this particular switch. And next one is host only network. This network is to communicate from your base machine to the this particular virtual machine, nothing else. Okay, it doesn't provide you any internet connectivity. Providing internet connectivity, why to use NAT? Directly we would have used host only network, right? So that's all. Okay, host only, the meaning in the sense, within the host you can communicate your servers with this IP. Okay, so that's the reason we are allocating two networks to my virtual machine. So let us start the installation. Okay, I downloaded Ubuntu 16.04 server image. Ubuntu 16.04 server. So here, this is desktop image and this is server image. Okay, we need to use server edition. In real time also we use only server editions, no desktop. Okay, you cannot see any graphical user interface. Okay, so that's the reason we need to use server edition. And that too, you need to decide yourself whether it is 64-bit or 32-bit you want to use. Obviously, people will use 64-bit operating system. So you can use this particular link in order to, oh man, that is downloading. Pause. Okay. So just copy this link I'm giving to you. You can download it from your end. Okay, this is Ubuntu 16.04 image. Okay, so which you can try, and once that is done, okay, go back to your Oracle VirtualBox, create one new machine. Okay, new, give some name. See how you are how these names are visible, right? So in that way. So let me say like online course Ubuntu. Okay, 16.0. Just I'm giving some name, lengthy name. If you want, you can give a shortcut. See, when I selected this, when I'm typing this like Ubuntu something in this particular string, it is automatically picking like Linux and Ubuntu 16.04. Sorry, 64-bit. So it is direct. If not, we need to select it. So you need to scroll down. You will have multiple lists here: Microsoft Windows, Linux, Solaris, BSD, IBM, Mac OS, and other. Okay, and here we are using 64-bit. We have 32-bit, 64-bit, and we have Red Hat 32-bit and 64-bit. We have Oracle, and then we have Linux. You know, Oracle operating system also we have for Linux. Okay, and then continue. So here, totally my base machine has 16 GB of RAM. How much you want to allocate to your virtual machine? So this is the maximum zone we can allocate, maximum GB. Like if you scroll bar, if you move your scroll bar to here, it is like 12 GB which you can allocate max. This yellow is like danger zone. This is the red mark. Okay, so we should not go beyond this. And if you allocate 12 GB to this particular VM, you cannot create another VM. You cannot run a parallel VM when you allocate already to this. This RAM should be allocated to your base machine. You need to leave to the base machine, right? Obviously your virtual machine is running on the base machine. If you don't have enough amount of RAM to your base machine, how it will run your Oracle VirtualBox? No, right? So the maximum margin they have given. Remember, 4 GB has to be allocated to your base machine. Rest of RAM you can allocate to your virtual machines. Okay, so now here I'm allocating 2 GB just for the installation, right? 2048 MB is equal to 2 GB. Okay, continue. And here create a virtual hard disk now. So it's not physical hard disk, right? It is a virtual hard disk of 10 GB. Okay, we can change it. I'll tell you when we can change. The extension of that particular virtual hard disk is VDI format, virtual disk image, and it is dynamic allocation. So dynamic allocation in the sense, you will set a maximum limit, but your virtual box will use virtual machine will use only the amount of storage which is required right now, and it will increase dynamically when it is going ahead. Okay, it doesn't occupy the entire storage you have given to the virtual machine. Let us say I have allocated 10 GB of storage to my virtual machine. It doesn't use 10 GB directly. It will use only now how much it is required. It will use that. Let us say 3 GB. It will be using it. And then later on it requires more GB. Then it will increase dynamically. And up to max 10 GB. It cannot cross beyond that. So we are setting a maximum limit to it. Okay, and then what is the maximum limit? 10 GB. But if you want, you can increase. What is my base machine storage? It is 2 terabyte. Okay, you can allocate 2 terabyte. It doesn't matter because it is not using the entire hard disk, right? It is a maximum limit, but it will use dynamically. So as of now, I'm allocating 50 GB, for example. That's it. Okay. So create. Now just we have created a virtual machine, but we haven't set the network and ISO. We need to set attach the ISO, right, in order to install the operating system. So for base machine, what will you do if you purchase a new laptop? What will you do? You will insert a CD, a bootable CD, to your CD-ROM, and then you will attach a LAN cable to your system, and then you will start installation, whatever you want, like operating system. Okay, similar to this, we have purchased a laptop, but we haven't inserted any CD-ROM or network to it. Okay, so let's do that. So by default, you can see when VM is created, virtual VM, just created. See, by default, NAT will be attached. Okay, so let's go to settings. See, this VM I have selected and go to settings. And here, first of all, let's go to the storage. Here we can see an empty option here, right? So here we need to attach the ISO. So empty. Here we can see the disk. Okay. Then choose virtual optical disk file. Then it will browse to your local machine. From there you can attach your ISO. Here you can see I have attached the ISO here. Ubuntu 16.041. This is the one which I have attached. Okay. Then go to network. You can see first NAT is already attached here. You can see this is the MAC address of that particular NAT. Means like every NIC card will have a MAC address, right? It is a virtual NIC card. So for virtual NIC card also, obviously we need to have a MAC address. Okay. And then second adapter, in the sense I'm attaching one more NIC card to my operating system. Okay, to my VM. Enable it. What I need to select? Host only adapter. So by default it is selected. Since we have only one, it got selected. And then here promiscuous mode should be allow all. It should not be deny. It should be allow all, so that you can communicate to the VM, and VM can communicate to the base machine, and the same VM can communicate to other VMs also. Okay, and then click on OK. So now we have all set up. Like you have attached your ISO and your network is set up. Now we need to boot the VM. So in order to install the operating system, so either you can double click here or we can click on start here. Okay, just let me click here, double click. Guys, is that clear or any questions? Obviously you know how this ISO, what is ISO and everything, right, to install the operating system. Now we can see when I booted automatically, it is trying to install the operating system in my VM. Okay, 50 GB VM. Okay. So here we can see English language we need to select in order to in the installation procedure which language you want to use. Obviously English. So what you're trying to do, install Ubuntu server. So enter, press enter for that. So here this language is nothing but keyboard language. So English, United States, no, that should be no, and English. So everything should be English. There if you get some keyboard language, cancel yes or no, we should be no. So this part also I gave the screenshots. You can use that particular link. Let me give you that link. So these are the documents which I prepared for Kubernetes. So I will give you later, but let me what is a video which I'm doing? Somewhere Linux. Okay. So in this, I clearly explain about what is Linux operating system. Okay, what are the file systems we have. Okay, so how to install. Okay, how to install an operating system. What are the things we need to follow? Everything I have shown here. I just want to share this. Share. Guys, you can use that link that is globally shareable, so you can try to access it. Okay, no restrictions on it. So use that link. Any questions? So here it is showing you the two NICs which I have attached. Which one you will select for the primary one, primary network interface. As a primary in the sense that will be connected to the internet. So that should be get an automatic IP address and all. So first one is having that particular functionality. So enter. So that in the installation process, is there any package to download and install? Then your internet connection will, you need to have internet connection, right? So my first adapter will do that. So this is nothing but the host name setting to your operating system. So for every system, there should be an host name, right? Either you can communicate with the IP address or with the host name. Okay. So here I will say like test server dot ubuntu server dot tld, just a name, and then click on tab. It will go to continue, enter, and then so by default Ubuntu doesn't allow with the root username. So then we need to create a username with password, some username. Let us say I'm using test user. Then click on continue. Again click on continue. So here we need to set a password for that particular user. So test123. Here if you want to see that, press space bar so that you can see the password. Okay. Again press bar so it will disable, and then continue. Again re-enter the password for the confirmation. Continue. So it is saying like it is a weak password. Still, do you want to continue? Yes. So click on yes and continue. So do you want to encrypt your home directory? No. So the time zone, see, based on your present physical location, your time zone is Asia Kolkata. If this is not correct, you can select from the full list of time zone instead. Is the time zone correct? Yes, obviously Asia Kolkata. So so this is like installation. So use entire disk and set up LVM. So we are using the same one. So press enter directly. Don't change anything. And then this is the disk we are using, 55.3 GB. Okay. So press enter. So we need to give S. So we need to use the entire disk. So continue. And then these are the partitions which are done automatically. That is root and swap partition. Okay. So I'm comfortable with this. So I will continue. Yes. So that is automatic partition which is done, which is called as LVM in Linux, logical volume manager.
Hello.
But I think now I have reconnected. Hear me, right? Everyone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay, fine. I just want to give you the screenshots which someone has already created in website. I'm seeing whether we are following, say, whether they are following the same thing or not. If that is the reason, then I will give you the same link. Set full name, password. Here we need to use entire disk with LVM partition. That is what we need to follow actually. Yeah, this is not required. It's okay.
Hello.
It is a bit different. Okay, let's follow it. What kind of job profile is needed to search jobs for 2 minutes? Just search for Kubernetes or Docker keyword. Automatically you'll get it. Okay. So based on that, the profile, the designation will be different, like deployment engineer or development, whatever it is. But search words called Kubernetes and Docker. That's it. Nothing else. I'll show you that example also. Sure.
The class time is gonna be the same. Like
Sorry, I don't get you. If you
no,
allow
no.
me to.
I asked the class timings.
Class timings. It's from 7:30 to 8:30.
Okay. Is there a chance like
I,
we can move to
IST.
8 or?
You can talk to the management because I need to consider all the people, right? So management also should think in all. See, if you're all are willing to have from 8 to 9 or something, then you can talk to the management and give one confirmation. Okay. See, you are having from 8 to 9. Say some people want only from 7:30 to 8:30. So then, like we will go for majority, right? So that's how. I hope half an hour doesn't matter if I'm not wrong.
No, actually, I'm on the other class with Imran as well. So
Oh, okay.
it's like clashing. Like, but my new role is going to be in depth with like Docker and Kubernetes. So I saw the post and joined this course.
Okay, fine. Can you talk to the management? So this is not in my window. You can talk to the
No, no, you
management.
yeah. No, you have like
For me,
are
it's
you
no. For me, I don't have any issues. Okay, I don't
okay?
have any issue. It's your comfort.
I don't know.
Whether
The
people have
majority are
joined,
not
it is
less.
your comfort. You can talk to the management. If you are comfortable from 8 to 9, then it's well and good. I'm also happy. At least I can stretch my sleeping hours to at least half an hour more. Actually, that is good for me only.
Okay. Can everyone vote? Like, are you people okay with
If
it?
the people are okay with it, then they can in the chat window they can say like yes or no. Okay, so then we can get the majority over here. Then saying that I already talked to the people and I got a confirmation on this. No, Raju, no, no. Okay, Ram and Raju is not okay. Shurish is not okay. ABD is okay. Karthik, no. You're getting majority as no. So here we need to continue. No need to use any proxy or something. Just continue. So I guess majority is no. So I think we cannot go for it. So what is your time of class from in Imran? Like, what is the time? Is it DevOps?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Hello.
Yeah, then we need to see actually, but majority people are not willing to join at 8 o'clock, right? So it's better. because some US people have joined, so that's the reason. For them,
I'm
it's
as
like
well
late
from
90s.
US.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Yes,
Satish.
I'm I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, so in Docker containers, we can say, I mean, what I'm saying. So instead of Ubuntu, we can use RHL,
Whatever
Debian.
it is,
Uh,
you can use anything.
so even I have seen so many. I mean, in so many documents. So they are preferring Ubuntu only for
See,
Docker. So
Ubuntu,
is there in
the problem is Ubuntu is like open source. Everybody can download the ISO and they can use it. The problem with Red Hat and all, it's like you need to purchase the license key in order to install the packages. That's a problem with this. Or else you need to use a third party, which is not allowed. Okay. Either you can go for CentOS. I'll show you on CentOS also. Okay. So it covers CentOS and Red Hat is similar, and Ubuntu and Debian is similar. So we'll be covering 4 operating systems, right? 4 Linux operating systems. Is that fine for you? See, maybe the installation procedure is different, but
so
the
yeah,
commands are
it's
same.
fine. Nothing is
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So for
So
Ubuntu, few commands are different. For RHEL, few commands are
yes,
different.
yes, the
In
package
so
installation.
how use? In Docker side, see Docker full, Docker push. That image
These are
and
like
is
same,
same for all OS.
same.
Okay.
Even for whatever you use, the Docker command is same for all the operating systems. It doesn't bother about the base operating system. Okay. So here we should not use any automatic
Okay.
updates. That's because when I install some important package, I need to maintain only that specific version. I don't want to go for automatic updates. So first option you can select and then press continue. Because some people will not, in production servers we don't use automatic updates because some packages are specific to that particular application. So when you use automatic updates, right, the application which is developed may be a specific to one version. If you upgrade, may not, some particular functionality doesn't work to the latest version. So that's a reason in production servers we disable automatic updates. Manually we try to upgrade it. Okay. So then which package you want to install by default? So I just want to install OpenSSH server because if you don't have this particular package, you cannot communicate from outside. Like SSH command, right? I cannot use it from outside. Okay, that doesn't allow in for incoming. So continue. So OpenSSH server package is nothing but if you want to talk to the Linux machine, this package need to be available in that particular machine so that it allow the SSH communication or from to the system and from the system both. The port number is 22 by default. Okay. Oh, did you lost the links? Okay. Wait, let me give you the links. Shit, man. Oh yeah. I'll share you the links once again. Just a second. Here the troll bar is like. So these are the links which I've shared. Okay. So this will take time, connectivity and all. Since I'm running so many things, so that's the reason it is.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I
Good
can
morning, sir.
hear you.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, Ram.
Yeah. In regular DevOps course also they will cover all this Docker and Kubernetes.
Yeah.
Then in regular DevOps course they are going to cover this Dockers and Kubernetes, right?
Okay.
Um, in our session we are going to learn more than that.
Yes, obviously. So that's the reason we have a separate course, right? So there they
Okay.
might teach
Today is
about
my
Docker,
okay.
not the complete details, right? So they might not teach about taking the screenshots of your containers and migrating it to other servers and writing a Docker file in depth. Like it's not like basic writing of Docker files, right? And converting your container into images. How to create our own registry to push the images to the Docker Hub, okay, and pull it from the same registry itself instead of depending on Docker Hub. How we can build our own registry like Docker registry and push the images and pull the images. Not only that, we'll be learning something about Docker Mission, Docker. The first thing which you learn is like Docker Engine. Sorry for the noise. I'm getting some. Okay. So the Docker, in the sense, it is a Docker Engine tool. Okay. So Docker commands which you execute. Then we have a concept called Docker Machine, Docker Swarm. Okay. Then we need to go for Kubernetes. Okay. Then we need to understand why Kubernetes. And in Kubernetes, I don't think so. In regular course, you don't get in-depth knowledge. It's a basic like 10% or 20% which you get. For sure, it is. Because the time we have, right, in the DevOps course, we have less time to discuss on all the tools. Okay, so that's the reason we'll go like on the top layers, like 20% or 30% in few tools. Some tools we need to discuss in depth. For that, for sure, we'll discuss in depth. But sometimes we don't come from basics. It's like from moderate level which we come from. So that will create some problem for some people to understand the concept. So it's like from basics, like from scratch. Okay. So
Okay.
that is
Yes.
where we are taking a separate course for it, and we have a dashboard for Kubernetes where I'll be showing you it. Okay, creating containers, pods, and everything. Yeah, yeah. And not
So
only
how
that,
can
we'll be discussing on real-time experience, whatever I have, and dashboard for how will you monitor your Kubernetes resources from the monitoring tool. There should be some monitoring tool, right? So we'll be discussing about Prometheus, Kibana, whatever it is, Nagios tool. Okay.
okay? How can I search this Docker and Kubernetes jobs?
Just search for Kubernetes or Docker keyword, automatically you'll get all the jobs. Specific. See, microservice technology. So the person who has running applications on microservice. So that like we can search. I will tell you how to do it actually. Okay. So I'll give you
Okay,
some links so that you can see like how I searched in Google. Okay. And on Google in Naukri or whatever it is.
by learning this to by this we can
Two tools,
sustain in
right?
market.
That is enough. That is enough. See, now
Yeah.
the guys are looking. Now some companies are looking only for Docker and Kubernetes people who has expertise in that. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
that is enough. It doesn't mean that on entire DevOps is required for you. Not
Okay.
all the tools are required. I'll tell you what are the tools are required. You can learn on it. Okay.
So
So here we are
how much experience can I put on this by learning these two tools?
two and off.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Two plus whatever you want. Okay. So here I'm installing Grub. Once this is done, we are done with the installation of Ubuntu. Now on this, we will set some settings in order to access your server from outside, whatever it is. We'll set some IP address to the second interface. Only for the first interface we got the automatic IP address because DHCP is enabled on the switch side, which I have shown you. But on the host adapter, we haven't enabled the DHCP, so it doesn't get an automatic IP address. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, Sudham.
Okay, screen sharing again. I need to ask. Now the operating system is loaded from the hard disk. Okay, so because we have in the installation process we have copied the IS4 details into hard disk. Now the operating system is loading from the hard disk. So here I told you, right, login prompt is nothing but we need to give the username password which you have created while installing the operating system. Okay, so it's like test user and the password is test123 which I gave. Once you logged into that, shift to the root user. Okay, because root user doesn't have any password, we need to set it. So this password we need to give test123. Okay, now you can see you are logged into root user. You can see here, who am I? Okay, you are a root user. Okay, now we need to set a password for this root user. So PASSWD, enter. Give some password. Again, I will give same test123 only and test123. Okay. Now, if I use Control D, it will show me the login prompt. Okay, you will exit and it will show you the login prompt. If I use root and test123, you will log in as a root user directly. Okay. Now, how will you see the number of interfaces and their IP address in the Linux operating system? For Windows, we will see in CMD, we will enter IP config, right? But in Linux, it is, sorry, yeah, IP config. For Linux, it is if config, which we enter. Okay, if config -a will give you the down interface as well as up interface, both. Okay, now we can see totally we have 3 interfaces. Now this command is deprecated. We should not use this if config command. Forget about it. Use only IP space a command. Okay, with this we can clearly see that there are 3 interfaces. One is LO, one is ENP0S3, and one is ENP0S8. among these three, which are like physical NIC cards, like virtual NIC cards, the main NIC cards are nothing but ENP0S3 and ENP0S8. LO interface is nothing but which will be created by an operating system, not by the virtual NIC card or physical NIC card. That will be created by operating system itself. If you install multiple virtual machines or multiple physical servers, if you install operating system, this IP address you will see by default, which is called as loopback IP address. Okay, so you cannot communicate from outside, you can communicate internally. Okay, internally within the server, that's it. That is called as loopback IP address. Rest of the two interfaces are nothing but one interface is already assigned with an IP address, that is 10.0.2.15, which is from NAT gateway. Okay, so directly you'll get internet connection. You can see here. See, I am able to connect to Google. But the second interface doesn't have any IP address, but still we are able to connect to the internet because my IP address is NAT, first interface. Now let us try to log into this server from outside, from my Mac operating system to the Linux operating system virtual machine, which is running on the same server host. So if I give SSH, what is the username? Let us give test user. Test user at 10.0.2.15 is the IP address. You can see here it is browsing, in the sense it is trying to connect, it is trying to establish a connection, but it doesn't. Okay, why? Because incoming packets are not allowed with this IP address by default, only outgoing packets are allowed. So that is like clear. Okay, so now what we need to do to overcome this situation? Now I want to access my server from my Mac OS so that I can copy paste few things. Here copy paste doesn't work, everything you need to type it, so which is creating a problem for me. Okay, then how we can overcome this situation? So for that we need to have another interface which is already attached, but IP address is not allocated. So open a file called /etc network, where your interfaces network details will be stored here. Okay, /etc network/interfaces. This is a file which will hold the entire network information of your NIC cards. Okay, so here we can see LO interface or ENP0S3, because this are already added, because while installing the operating system you have selected this ENP0S3 NAT, or else you can create a separate file for each and every, that can be created under /etc network interfaces.d. You can see here the first line, source. So you can create a separate file, but that file name should be like your interface name, ENP0S3 LO ENP0S8, like that. Now let us add the ENP0S8. So auto in the sense automatically start your interface when you're rebooting your system or starting your system, so that every time it is not required for me to start up. ENP0S8, then iFace in the sense interface. What is interface name? ENP0S8, and iNet in the sense network. And then here it is not DHCP, it is static. Static in the sense what are the values I give in the file, that should be applied to my interface, to be applied to my NIC card. Okay, to my interface ENP0S8. So first is like address, which is called as IP address. So 192.168.56. Let us say it is 30, for example only. Okay, network 255.255.255.0. Okay, here gateway and all, nothing is required, because already the gateway, DNS, everything is taken from your first interface, because that is a DHCP. So DHCP server will give you the automatic gateway and all. So my second interface
Address
doesn't
should be
require any
given
gateway.
from the same
Sorry?
subnet, or the address?
Yeah, we need to give on the same subnet. Because here if you look at your Oracle VirtualBox settings, just a second, preferences, here in the network, go to host only, double click on this, see what is the series we have, 192.168.56.1. So the next IP address will be from 2 to 254. It is okay. Doesn't assign to any system because it is a broadcast. One is nothing but a gateway. So from 2 to 254. So I'm taking 30. So 30 is fine, right? It's no one. See, for any of the system, I have not allocated 30 IP address. So I gave 30. If it is up to you, like if I want, I can give 3 also. Okay. Then save this file, like escape WQ, enter. Okay. So still my interface is up, down, second interface. So what I need to do? For that, you need to execute a command called if up. I want to make interface up only that particular ENP0S8. I don't want to touch any other network. So it is not recommended to restart your network for silly things. Okay. When you are facing a problem with only one interface, why you are restarting your network? That is like it is shutdowning all the networks and then it is starting it. So which is not an appropriate way to do in the production servers. Always remember, to whichever interface you have a problem, you need to work only on that particular interface. Restarting the network, it is not the what do we say, technical engineer way of resolving the issues. Okay, so if up enp0s8. Okay, now if you see, you'll get an IP address. So it will contact to the configuration file and then it will search for that particular interface details. If they are available, it will allocate that particular details to your interface. Okay, now let us try to access from outside. Okay, instead of this, so this is clear, like this, using this IP you cannot communicate from outside. So 192.168.56.3, you need to give yes, and then it is prompting for the password. In this sense, obviously you are able to communicate. So give the password of test user. Okay, you are logged into. How you can confirm this? This is my operating system 16.04, which I communicated to my virtual machine. Now you're directly logging in from test user. So why don't you use root user? Let us see. Root user, I have already set the password, right? But it is not allowing the root user. Root login from remote control is disabled. You can log in from here. Okay. You can log in from here actually. So root test 1 2 3. You can log in from the same machine, but from outside when you are trying to log in, it doesn't allow. So remote root login is disabled. So we need to enable it. So vi/etc/sshd_config. D for daemon. This file you'll get only when you install a package called OpenSSH-server, which we have installed while booting the operating system. We have done, right? While installing the operating system, we have installed this particular package. So go to this particular line, remove this permit probit password, give yes, and then save the file and come out, restart the service. SSH restart. Once it is done, go back to your terminal and then cancel this one and re-enter. Test 1 2 3. Now you are logged into your Linux machine directly. This is what we have done. Any questions till here, guys? Any questions do you have? So this is the installation of Ubuntu operating system. So tomorrow we will continue with the installation of Docker on Ubuntu. Okay, and day after tomorrow we can see on CentOS. Okay, so we'll come one after the other. Is that fine for you? So then we can wind up the class for today, and tomorrow we can continue with the installation of Docker on Ubuntu. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Nitin.
one question. Like, yeah, like, are we going to learn like Helm?
Yes, Helm also, Helm charts. Say by default for everyone, it is not so easy to write the YAML files and remember the particular entire structure, right? So that's the reason we use Helm in order to install the whatever the things you want for Kubernetes. Okay, Helm charts is important.
Okay, is it part of this course?
Yes, obviously. It is not written in context, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I will add it. Okay, but it is a part of the course.
Okay. Thanks.
See, videos and all you can talk to the management. It is not my responsibility. So they are recording it. So you can talk to the management and get the video. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.